irony here. Funny game, the sport of boxing, Ray, because in the ring with Edwin Rosario right now is Hector Macho Camacho.
I'm surprised to see that. In fact, I wasn't too sure it was Camacho, but I tell you, funny things happen in boxing.
He has just gone out of the ring to go back to his locker room, of course, to prepare for his own fight, which comes up after this. But an interesting twist of events, because I can remember before that fight, there was a lot of animosity between these two, because, of course, Rosario hailing from Puerto Rico, and even though Camacho is Puerto Rican, the Puerto Rican people on the island, of course, think of him as an American Puerto Rican. And there was a lot of inbred rivalry between those two, and not a lot of liking each other. And right now, of course, here they are, best of friends in a cause against Livingstone Bramble. So Edwin Rosario now perhaps facing his biggest hour. His opponent tonight, the champion, Livingstone Bramble. New image for the man. He's a guy, Ray, in our talking with Livingstone Bramble, I really had the feeling he's a guy who really has his head screwed on straight. He knows exactly what he's all about. There's a little bit of flash and a little bit of trash, but in that record of 24 wins and 1 loss with just the 1 draw, and the loss and the draw were early in his career, 15 knockouts. In all of that, there's a very business-like, I know what I'm doing attitude.
Well, we've seen the same Bramble, yet a Bramble without all the confusion and pandemonium that surrounds his career.
Let's take a look at the comparison between these two and the tail of the tape. The champion, of course, Livingstone Bramble, is 26 years old, 3 years older than Edwin Rosario, and he has an 8-inch reach advantage, which when we spoke with him, he feels he can utilize in there. We've never made much of reach, but Bramble does feel it's to his advantage. He feels that he can jab his man and that he has a good enough jab to be able to knock a man out.
I don't think that his reach, as far as the jab is concerned, will be all that important, Barry. What he uses those very long arms for a lightweight is defensively. He uses them as a vertical shield in front of his body, as you'll see. And here's our punch stat, our computer toy that gives you an analysis of the action that a fighter gives, quantitatively. Bramble in the 2 Mancini fights, of Mancini, a fighter coming right at him through all those punches. Rosario, you can see the difference between his fights depending on the opponent. So how many punches Rosario throws tonight obviously will be depending on the strategy of Bramble and how close they are together. And there you see how they utilize the jabs. Again, 2 marked differences depending on the opponent. I think Bramble will try his jab if Rosario is right in front of him.
And let's take a look then at the WBA rules. They are very similar to the WBC rules. The most obvious difference, of course, they fight 15 rounds in the WBA and 12 rounds in the WBC. The only other change is that number 5, the 3 knockdown rule in WBA rules is in effect. So if the man is knocked down 3 times in a round, the fight is over. All the other rules, the judging, the scoring, no standing 8 count, and the fighter can be saved by the bell only in the last round, the same in both WBA and WBC. So in the ring, both the combatants here. There's a look at Edwin Chapo Rosario. Both fighters seem very loose, too, before this fight.
Well, they're 2 experienced fighters in championship fights. The thing about Rosario is that there were a lot of skeptics before the last fight who had completely discounted him, to my amazement, because he had lost, after all, only 1 fight up to that time. Now they're asking him to prove that he's tough enough to fight this very, very tough champion. He did let Camacho get off the hook in that fight.
There's an interesting thing, Larry, just to elaborate a little more on what you touched upon a moment ago. Bramble, according to everybody that we've spoken with, and of course our own observations, is a very good defensive fighter. And yet when we spoke with Rosario, he said, and I'm quoting, he said he doesn't have any...
This is a Don King event production. Willie Martinez, president. Presentation under the supervision of the Florida State Athletic Commission, Robert Shevin, chairman, Commissioners Jimmy Resnick and Morris Grady, and Colonel George Porter, executive director. This bout, the officials designed and assigned for WBC Julio, WBA Julio Castillo. The judges, Rogelio Perez, Jesus Teles, Warren Mayo. The timekeeper, Sam Granalnik, counting for the knockdowns, Richard Graver. The doctors, Jack Grossman Theodore Struhl, and the referee Ernesto Magana from Mexico City. And the principals in the blue corner, from Puerto Rico, wearing the gold and blue trunks, weighing 135 pounds, with a record of 23-2, with 19 KOs, the former WBC lightweight champion, Edwin Rosario. And his opponent in the red corner, from Hamilton Township, New Jersey, wearing the black and check trunks, weighing 135 pounds, with a record of 24-1-1, with 15 KOs, the World Boxing Association champion, Livingstone Bramble.
Bring them together. I want to hold the mic up to your face.
Into the table.
Right. Okay. Now.
So we're just about set to get started here. One issue that we probably should touch on, Larry Merchant, and that is the dreadlocks worn by Livingstone Bramble. Something of a story here.
Yeah, those dreadlocks are sort of like knots in the hair that some fighters complained about. Now his hair is more braided and hanging down, but he's been warned that if it gets in the way of Rosario, that the referee is authorized to clip it off with scissors. I don't know if the referee has a license to barber here in Florida or not. This is a new issue on me.
I think there is one, perhaps a bottom line here in our conversations with both these fighters. We talked about some of the things they said already. Livingstone Bramble had a simple quote. He said, if you see him take a step back, the fight's mine. And it is a fact that Rosario does not fight backwards, moving backwards very well. Rosario said, you won't see me move backwards, you'll only see me move side to side.
Just remember that both of these fighters are accustomed to going after their opponents. So this first round figures to be an important round for dominance, for territory, to determine who is going to be the boss. Both of them are looking at it that way, Ray.
One thing about it, though, Bramble has always been the one that would make the fight very aggressive, inside and outside. This time he says he's going to use the left jab. Let's see whether or not it works.
Rosario seems extremely loose here, just ahead of the opening bell. Rosario, in some people's estimation, was thinking perhaps a little bit more about his narrow loss to Hector Camacho than he was about the fight upcoming tonight with Livingstone Bramble. Round one, set to go.
Whoa, that was close.
Crowd into this fight right off the bat. Good left hook, the biggest weapon of Edwin Rosario. Bramble said, look for all kinds of fireworks in the first round. As you have to establish dominance, in the words of Livingstone Bramble.
Bramble puts a lot behind that left jab. You notice he puts his entire body. In fact, he mentioned the fact his sparring partner's claim is like his right hand. Very potent, very crisp. With Rosario, he has to get a lot of angles. In fact, he said he won't move back. He was side-to-side angles.
Pretty good right hand by Rosario.
Good stiff jab by Bramble. Normally Bramble would cut the ring off. Rosario used the entire ring. A lot of mobility.
Jab keeping Rosario off of Bramble. And a lead right that time snuck in. There appears, even this early, Ray, a little bit of swelling under the right eye of Rosario, caused by that left jab.
Well, you have to understand the fact that Bramble's a good, solid puncher. Puts his entire body behind it. Rosario puts punches together very well.
Rosario is doing a little bit of backing up here.
He backs away to get in position, Barry. Then he fires back. There, he fired back with a good left-right combination.
Very good combination, and it locked Bramble back. Another good left hand sneaking in over the gloves of Bramble by Rosario. Even first round. Very good left jab by Bramble. 10 seconds remaining. We'll remind you that Tito Alba, our interpreter, Spanish to English, will be in the corner of Edwin Rosario, and we'll have an interpretation between rounds.
I don't think anybody dominated that round, but I did think Rosario was more effective at what he wanted to do than Bramble was at what he wanted to do.
All right, look, but you're not moving your hands quite enough, yeah? Flip them punches. And your knees inside too, champ. Too straight up. And water. Okay.
I need some water. You have to use the left hand also.
Stay loose, champ. Stay loose. Make him miss.
The issue here is whether Bramble can take the punch of Rosario, who is probably the hardest, sharpest puncher he's ever faced, and whether Rosario can stand the pressure and toughness of the champion.
Bramble said he really didn't think the fight would go 15 rounds, and he said, honestly, I doubt it'll go 10.
What Bramble has in front of him is a guy that is a great counterpuncher, one of the best counterpunchers in the lightweight division. Also a good, sharp, accurate puncher in Rosario, a guy that gives you so many angles, left, right, lateral movement. Bramble has a tendency to wear his opponents down with just his aggressiveness.
Rosario just missed with that short left hook. That was the one that really got Hector Camacho.
Bramble there for a second was going to turn to southpaw. This guy is ambidextrous.
Well, it's also been said when he does that, he takes one awkward step and leaves himself open.
But he fires back so quickly, Barry, and very few fighters are able to counter on that. The jab of Rosario starting to back Bramble into the ropes.
Good combinations by Edwin Rosario. And a great left hand by Rosario. That was a sneaky, quick left hand. And it drove Bramble into a corner. And a good uppercut and another. And Bramble backs up, he's hurt. Rosario dishing it out to Bramble. Long way to go, over a minute remaining.
There's a cut over Bramble's right eye.
Some tremendous shots by Rosario. Bramble just trying to cover up. And down goes Bramble.
It's all over.
Tremendous victory for Edwin Rosario.
I said when this round started, the issue was whether Bramble could take Rosario's punch, which was the hardest punch he's ever faced. It turned out that he couldn't.
This is a man that had never been knocked off his feet before. There was no question about it.
So the preamble to Bramble has turned out to be the scenario for Rosario. And now what Hector Camacho is looking at is a rematch of that great fight we had earlier in the year, if he can win tonight.
If he wants it. If he wants it is another issue. Or rather, Camacho, who knows and admitted he was really in a fight the last time, has made noises about moving up one division. And after seeing this, I'm not sure that he would want any part of this man. Let's take another look at it, Ray. That was just a most impressive performance, and he showed a good ability to finish this time.
The right hand did a lot of damage. Then here, Bramble buckles. And again, Rosario, good finisher. He connects with the right hand to the side of the head. A lot of clinching at this point here. Bramble still a little on clear streak. And again, Rosario just in there.
Here's
good sharp punches.
The fact that this time he made no mistake about it. He finished. There was some criticism that he could have finished Camacho, and he didn't. And in fact, there was some criticism. Camacho himself said he kind of dogged it between the 6th and the 10th rounds in a Camacho fight, and he just kind of coasted, waiting to go the distance and figuring he'd win the fight. This time, no question about it.
Well, Camacho has those legs to get him out of trouble. Here with Bramble relies a lot on strength. The uppercuts, short punch, inside punches, very, very sharp, very accurate punch, devastating shots.
Well, the people's champion, who was, I don't think there's any doubt about, just the people's champion in the country of Puerto Rico, is fast becoming the people's champion internationally.
You know, one thing about Rosario, he didn't think that he, after winning, if he should have won this fight, he wouldn't be recognized, but I think he will be.
I don't think there's any question about it. That was a very, very impressive performance. Very impressive. So Rosario hardly winded, although there was a little bit of swelling under his eye. Bramble seems to be okay. He's now with his baby and his wife in the corner. Let's go up to the ring announcer, Frank Freeman. We'll get the official decision.
Gentlemen, the time 2 minutes 28 seconds of the second round. Winner by a knockout, and new WBA lightweight champion Edwin Rosario.